After surviving a cruise ship accident, a group of survivors come across a deserted ship. Not knowing anything about it and not seeing anybody in sight, one by one as the movie goes on, they start getting terrorized and picked off one by one. What is the history behind this ship? And can they survive Death Ship?
What's up, awesome YouTubers? Ryan1988 or Justin back here to do a video for you all. I hope you're all doing well out there. And today I'm here to talk about, as you saw in the intro, 1980s Death Ship. So this was obviously the early age of the golden horror in the 1980s. Mostly golden era of slashers, but this was at that, early peak of that time. Obviously not a slasher movie. And as I explained in the intro of this, that this is a supernatural horror movie that takes place on a ghost ship. Um, I saw this movie for the first time back in 2010, I believe, or 2011. Might have been 2012. It was very early on in the 2010s. And I finally revisited this movie. The first time I saw it, I was not a fan. I think I hyped myself up way too much for the film, and I was expecting something different with it. Rewatching the movie, this is an awesome movie. Sometimes it takes rewatching a movie to fully appreciate it. And I do with this, Does it have camp to it? Absolutely. But there's a lot of great things about the film. I love the setting, the ghost ship, this death ship, this deserted ship is so eerie and so creepy. I love where the movie goes, like where this plot goes. If you haven't seen it in a while, or if you've never seen it before, it can surprise you. Where characters go, like development of characters. So there's some great surprises in this movie. Some really eerie moments too, very suspenseful, spooky moments. If you want like a spooky horror movie, that can also be fun. Death Ship is for you. Great characters in this film. Overall, a really solid acting in the movie. George Kennedy is our main character. He's the captain of a ship that, like I mentioned in the intro, goes down, and he has probably the biggest story arc in this movie without giving too much away. He's kind of resentful because he is going on his last ship as a captain, and he doesn't like that. He's being let go after a charter, and is being fired and having to retire pretty much. So he has a lot of resentment towards that, and his character goes through his own arc in this movie. If it's something you've never seen before, it might surprise you, and it definitely surprised me when I rewatched it, because I couldn't remember a lot of this movie. So there are some kills in the film. I think, some pretty solid kills, solid suspense in the movie. There's one scene in this movie. There's a couple scenes that really stand out for me, but one of the scenes that stands out for me is probably one of the scariest scenes in the movie, and it really doesn't do much. It's a scene that takes place in a shower. A character is locked in this shower. It's one of those showers that has the glass doors. I know not a lot of houses or hotels or whatnot have these anymore. These ones that you would just like shut and it would click. And it was pretty much a door. but it's in this movie, and the character gets locked in there, and out of the shower comes blood. And she's just freaking out this whole time. The scene is so scary just because of that fear of like, you can't get out of this place and you're just stuck in here. And, I think she, just dies of fright. So I'm not going to give her name away, but, obviously it's a she. Um, but that is a great and scary scene in this movie. I love the film. I highly recommend it. If you love great atmospheric horror movies, if you are trying to find stuff that you've never seen before, Death Ship is one to check out. Very underrated movie, especially during that era of horror movies, that decade of horror movies. And a very underrated supernatural, haunted ship. It's not a haunted house this time, it's a haunted ship. But you can put it in that category of like haunted movies. Um, and I would say it's definitely one of the better ones. I was really impressed with it upon rewatch, and I'm glad I bought it. You know, get yourself a copy of this movie, rather it's this 4K Blu-ray combo from Kino, or if you could find another copy. Whatever you could find, pick this up. It doesn't really matter like how you watch the movie. I mean, I love a 4K Blu-ray transfer. If you could just find a Blu-ray copy of it, like, go for that. Um, just watch the film. This is gonna be, how I like really talk about movies now is like I appreciate the newest formats and I love that. But for, overall, the biggest thing for me is I want to watch the movies and I want to talk about them and I want to recommend them to you. And 1980s horror movies, that is my favorite decade of horror. Any subgenre during that time, I really appreciate and love that decade. And I appreciate and love other decades, but the 1980s, when it came to horror movies, it was just a great time. So I recommend Death Ship. Pick it up. If you get this edition, it is great. It looks and sounds great on 4K. The Blu-ray is the same way. Kino did a wonderful job with it. I believe it came out last month, so um, you get some extra features on it, which I haven't really dived too much into the extras. I need to do that. I really just wanted to talk about the movie, but you're also getting the extended cut of the movie, which I've not seen yet. It's 2 minutes longer, so that's pretty cool. Um, in the movie, it's been a couple weeks since I've seen it, but in the movie, I believe there are a couple moments where something happens and it goes to another scene, and you're kind of like, okay, so what happened like in between things? So I really need to go and watch the extended cut the next time I watch the movie, and maybe it'll explain a little bit better. That could be a flaw with the movie, just kind of like jumping from one scene to another without really explaining some things. But this movie is awesome. I recommend it. This is a great release right here. Again, whatever release you get, I just recommend watching the movie. Love the classic artwork. That is just amazing. And then, you take the slipcover off and you get the same artwork. There's no reversible artwork there. There's a list of bonus features right there. There's George Kennedy. Um, and then, you get the, classic Kino 4K and Blu-ray artwork, which is not much, but that's their signature thing. Um, yeah, I don't think Scream Factory released this prior. I think another company had released this. I think it was actually it says it right here, it was a Katrina's Nightmare Theater DVD release. So I don't think this ever had a Blu-ray up until this point. I could be wrong. Maybe that Katrina release had a Blu-ray, but I do remember the DVD. And so, now we're getting this brand new release of the film. So you're getting all previous bonus features, all previous stuff from the Katrina DVD release back in, 2010, 2011. And I just recommend this one. So pick this one up, watch it. It's a good summer movie. It has a, kind of like heated atmosphere, like, it's muggy outside type of feel. So check out Death Ship. Maybe it's streaming somewhere, watch it that way if you want. Um but if you're a physical media collector like me, this is a great one to get. So, or pick up any release that you can of this movie. So, Death Ship, highly recommended. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to be reviewing a lot of great horror movies as always, and you know, I hope you just enjoy everything to come. So, love you all. I'll talk to you soon. As always, you're all awesome. You all rock. In with a positive, out with a negative, and much love. Bye, everybody.